You heard about manifestation and now you try it out for yourself, and you might realize like my life got way worse since I'm applying all these manifestation methods. What's happening here? Do I do something wrong or is that normal? In this video, I share my experience about things becoming really bad and getting worse after applying manifestation techniques and what I suggest to do. Hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Maddie. I'm a biologist, an author, and a shamanic practitioner. And on my channel, it's all about shamanism and how you can implement shamanic methods into your everyday life to make it more happy and fulfilled. You might wonder, I was just talking about manifestation and now I say this channel is about shamanism. And I already recorded a couple of videos about manifestation and shamanism. And it seems to be, there seems to be a big difference between two worlds, but basically it's not. Well, I just want to, kind of recapitulate what shamanism and manifestation means. Shamanism is a very old way to see the world where everything has a spirit, where everything is connected, and where we humans can connect with every spirit of everything around us, for example, through shamanic journeying. And manifestation means that through affirmations, through, different kind of methods, we can bring our ideas, our wishes into the 3D reality. And the common denominator between manifestation and shamanism is that we have a spirit, that everything has a spirit. And spirit for me means that there is a universal life energy into everything. And so with that, from that point of view, from that life energy, we are able to manifest everything into the world. And so, yeah, you might have started with manifestation. You kind of have the idea of, for example, finding your specific person, and you are doing the manifestation. You're also feeling like how it would be to have that person into your life. You feel very happy and looking forward to meeting that person. And then you realize after maybe a couple of weeks, things are getting bad in that specific area. Like it's getting worse. For example, maybe you had a person that you thought like he or she could be the one, and then all of a sudden they're leaving your life, they're out there, they're not coming back to you, they're not talking to you anymore. Or you feel like every time you go out, you're not even meeting other people anymore. Like your wish seems to be so far away now, where you think like, how can that be? I was trying to manifest the opposite and now my life just got way worse than it was before. I must do something wrong here. Well, let me tell you, you're not doing anything wrong. This is just the way it is. And I'll give you some examples out of my life, basically 3 examples. So the biggest example for me was like my relationship with my husband right now. There was a time where, we had some, not problems, but where I definitely felt like I wasn't happy the way I used to be with him. And I tried to manifest a very happy, fulfilled relationship. And I was not even being very specific. I kept it open, whether it's him or maybe it's also another person who would be the right person for me. So I manifested having a fulfilled, perfect relationship. That was my manifestation. And I visualized it. Every time we kind of had an argument going, I thought like, how would I wanted to have it? Maybe just feeling more understood. And it got really worse in my relationship, where I almost thought like, maybe he's not the right person for me. Maybe, now I'm manifesting the right relationship for me because I first have to end that one before someone else can come in. And that lasted a couple of weeks or almost a couple of months. So things got really bad and we were arguing a lot. It seemed like we were not even understanding each other anymore, which we never really had that way. So it scared the hell out of me, to be honest, because deep down, I always knew and felt that he is the right person for me. And I didn't want him to leave or me leaving. I just want to, have a nice relationship with him, or just a fulfilled relationship with him. And then a couple things happened. A couple things happened in his life and also in my life where we had to look closer, where we had to really even dissect, the problems that we had in our relationship, each person on their own. Like he had to look at a couple dramas in his life about anger expression, And also health, the way he was eating caused him pain in his liver, and he was constantly like angry in his liver from his digestive system, stressed out as well. And I had a couple expectations, and that, were not really mine in a relationship. So what I wanted to say, I think it is normal that things get worse before your manifestation will come true. Because in order to change your life, which you wanted, you want change in your life, you have to look at a couple things before things can get better. Basically, on dramas, on old like belief systems that you have to resolve before things can get better. Because there is a reason why your life is how it is right now. Because you have a certain idea about your life, about yourself, because you have experienced a couple traumatic things into your life. And maybe now deep down, your inner children want to protect you from another experience like that. And because of that, you're not living your full potential, or you're not making decisions that otherwise you would make. And so I realized after we went both through our let's say, healing time, after that, our relationship got so much better. Like, he could release a lot of anger, and he became, again, that beautiful, warm-hearted person that I loved him so much for. And now even more, because he could really release a lot of traumatic experiences in his life, also changing the way he was eating that helped him to release some physical symptoms and all of that. Whereas I was also looking into my life and seeing where a lot of traumas came from the way I experienced my family as well, also the dynamics in my family. For example, in my family, it was that my grandpa and my dad, they had not a lot to say. All their all their needs were not really important in the life of my grandma and my mom's life. So I learned that the need of a man is not important. And I kind of think I know where that came from. Like, my grandma, she was a refugee in the Second World War, and she experienced horrible things through men, right? So yeah, all kinds of bad stuff. And she never healed that. And for her, a man was a horrible being. And that's also how she treated my grandpa, like, as, someone who is not worth it to be seen and to be loved. And specifically, their needs are not important enough to be met. And that was a huge revelation for me when my husband told me that he feels like I don't care about his needs, but only about my own need. That was a slap in the face, but he was not only honest, but he was also right. And so for me, realizing this, that on a conscious level, I relived the family model that I, just learned from my family. I could see definitely why he was so angry with me on many different levels. Once I resolved it, it was like really having a second honeymoon. Because, specifically last week when we were on a huge festival, it was amazing. We just had such a good time, and I just saw the person in him again that I fell in love with so much. And so that whole story just going to show you that things probably have to get worse before they get better if your manifestation is really realizing at that very moment, because you got to go through some changes. Otherwise, you won't see your manifestation becoming real. Another example for me is with money. Money is the biggest topic, I think, for everyone about the manifestation. Also for me, since years and years, I'm learning about manifestation or manifesting money. And it is a very deep topic in my life. And I managed to manifest money, but at the same time, I was also going away again, and right now, I actually feel like I'm going through a phase where it's getting worse before it's getting better. I have a couple of invoices just piling up on my desk, and it's just like one thing after another. Things are breaking, and I kind of having a mismatch on some money decisions making. Although I thought I'm very conscious about it, I made some decisions that cost me more money than I thought so. And just being faced with that experience of, oh, wow, I'm actually not as good as in money that I thought. It seems to me that this is necessary right now to realize where there's still some more beliefs around money hidden in me. Well, I still have to learn more about myself. Specifically with me, it is about the self-worth and also not feeling guilty when I spend money. That was something that I experienced as a kid. Like, my dad was always angry with me when I spent money, even my own pocket money, when I spent it for sweets or toys. And he made me feel bad about myself because I did that. And I guess deep down, I didn't want my dad to be angry with me. So I kind of decided, well, if spending money is bad, then I better don't have any money, because then I can't spend it, right? So all these kind of little decisions that you make that you made in the past might still influence your decision making today. So becoming aware of what's going on and what kind of different voices are playing a role within you when you make a financial decision is very, very important. Also, just the other day, I realized through shamanic work that I still have some trauma left from an abuse that I experienced as a young teenager. There was a boy in my village that I went with to his home. And after that, I kind of lost my memory. I didn't know what was happening. But through shamanic journeying and also body work, I realized that, there was something going on that shouldn't have happened. And I felt so ashamed after that. I was so afraid that my parents found out about it, because I was not allowed to go with that boy somewhere. And if they would have found out, they would have been really, really angry with me. Having that fear of, I've done something that I was not supposed to do. And also I was ashamed of myself. How could I have been so stupid to go with that boy, and my parents told me to not to, and now something might have happened to me. I felt so ashamed. I felt so worthless myself. And basically, I think this is how it also is related with the money issue. If you feel worthless, well, then this worthlessness will also manifest itself in our 3D reality through money, because money is a way of, expressing our worth, our self-worth. The more you are worth to yourself, I guess also the more it will show up in your reality as value, as money, for example. And so for me, going through all this right now, I definitely know now why things got worse. And I hope they'll get better soon. But I definitely know they will get better soon, because this is what I experienced. So with these two examples, I just wanted to illustrate you that it is very, very much likely that things will get worse before they'll get better in your manifestation process, because there are a couple things in the way that you have to look at before your manifestation can come into reality. And here it is where you have to do the deep work. And I keep saying that to my clients when they come to me on a shamanic session, and I'll do the extraction and also the soul retrieval, that they think, oh, wow, okay, now everything is done. Now I'm healed. Now things will change immediately. It definitely has an impact on your energetic system. There's no question about it. But also you have to do further work on it, which means that every time your energy system changes, like by extracting some energy as well as bringing some soul parts back, you gotta take care of your energetic system. Meaning maybe you have some parts within you that still need some healing. Maybe you have to do some crying and just feeling the emotions. And this is something many, many people refuse to do because they think it's too painful. They don't want to re-traumatize themselves. But I, from my experience, definitely can say that as long as you're not willing to feel the feelings and the emotions again that had been, that are stuck in your system, you will also get stuck in your life, because they are kind of literally stuck in your energetic system, and you can only get them out through bringing them into motion. And once they're in motion, you can feel them. Like, you can feel the anger in your body. You're like, maybe your neck is kind of swelling up, or you can feel the burn in your stomach. And to sit with this is the important part, to sit with this anger, to sit with the sadness, with the fear. I know it's hard, definitely. But for me, that was the most important part in my healing, to sit with my emotions. And this is so wonderful when you know about shamanic methods, because you can get some guidance from your spirit animals. You can go into nature and just really asking a tree or maybe an animal to help you going through this, because they have the power. They know what to do. I'll give you another example. I had 3 miscarriages in a time frame of 2 years, and it was a horrible experience. Each time it was differently painful. And I felt like my whole life will fall apart. Like my body, literally, I felt like I was teared apart. My heart was hurting so badly. And yet I couldn't do anything but feel it. There was no way out for me to, I didn't know where to go. I was so restless, and I couldn't help myself through just sitting there in pain and crying. So I spent a lot of time outside, and I was hugging trees almost all day long, because that was the only thing that helped me. And I felt comfort, I felt stability in the forest, where I couldn't find it anywhere else in my life anymore. And only through experiencing this kind of pain, this kind of shattering event in my life, I was able to release it and be okay with the situation. I mean, it's still, sometimes I can still feel, it hurts when I see a young woman or a woman with a young baby that is like, there's like a little at the moment, but it doesn't affect me as much anymore as it used to be. And I think it's because I really went through the grief, the pain, the sadness, the anger, the depression, everything that came along with it. And I do see that many people refuse to really open themselves up to that experience. And I get it. It is hard. It's not a piece of cake. But if you want to really see some changes in your life and make things better, or you want to have a different life, get the blockage out of your way by going through it. And I always see it that way. What can be more painful? Living with the trauma that you're not looking at for the whole rest of your life, that also keeps you away from the most happiest version of your life, or going through a very painful event for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, but then it's out of your system, and you can be sure that once it's out of your system, things will change to the better into your life, and you will experience new things that will make you much happier than your life before. That's how I always see it. And every time I'm sitting with my emotions and it's getting really bad, I'm calling in my helpers, my spiritual helpers, and I feel protected. I know I can go through this, because this is also, I think, a very shamanic point of view, or shamanic view to see the world, that we don't get more as we could handle. Although sometimes I feel like, wow, guys, this is quite a lot right now. I don't know if I can handle this. I was always able to handle it. And yeah, I'm absolutely aware of the fact that many psychologists say, you shouldn't go into these traumatic events again because of the re-traumatizing. But I also do think that our nervous system, that our bodies are capable of so much more than we can think of. Like as I said, I'm a biologist. I know how many crazy things are happening in our body every day. And I trust my body. I know that there's only things coming up I'm also able to handle. And my body is able to handle. It can heal itself in many, many different ways. So that was a longer video than I expected to, but I just wanted to illustrate the whole aspect, all kinds of aspects to that topic. So if you're manifesting right now and you realize that your life is getting worse in different ways, it's actually a good sign, because you can see that the manifestation is working. It's kind of, making its way from your energetic system into the 3D. But in order to get through, you have to look at different barriers that are in the way. And you can do this by really just going into the emotions that will come up. And it's usually like there will be some situations in your life where these emotions will arise from. The life will present you the situations in order to get these emotions out of you that are still lingering around and that are preventing you in order to have the most amazing life that you want. So don't resist. That's the more you resist, the more they will linger in your system. Take the time, sit down, maybe in a room where you have a little bit of music on, or you have a candle on, where you're very comfortable. grab a couple pillows, grab a couple of Kleenex or like paper tissues, and then cry a little heart out if it's possible. And if it's, you know, if this is what your body needs, or scream into your pillow, get this stuff out of you, get these stuck energies out of you. And you will see that you'll feel so much better after it. It might sometimes 5 to 10, even 15 minutes. I had like sometimes the worst thing that I experienced with that kind of work was like, I think 15 minutes or 30 minutes constant crying and then yelling. But after that, I felt amazing, and I felt so much lighter in my body. And you will see that it is worth it after these let go sessions, that you'll feel much better. Yeah, so I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know how it is with you in the manifestations. Is there an example in your life where things got worse before they got better? I think it's really helpful for many people to read about it, because, you know, specifically if you're only starting out with manifestations and you feel like your whole life is falling apart right now because you might think you did something wrong. No, it's part of the game. Keep going. That's the most important thing too. When I, had the problems with my husband, I kept asking my spirit animals, like, what should I do? Should I leave him now? And it was constantly, it's like, no, stay. He's the right one. Just go through it. You will see, things will change. And this is exactly how it happened. That's why I love the shamanic methods so much, that you can implement them into your life while you're not so sure about things. You can just ask your spirits. If you want to know more about manifestation and shamanism, you might want to watch this video where I talked about the common reasons why your manifestations are not showing up in your reality and what you can do about it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.